So check out this absolute beast that I managed to get my hands on. This is a Sanyo VTC 9300 PN, date from 1978, and it's a Betamax player. So I managed to rescue this huge thing from recycling, and yep, I just happened to randomly come across it and was able to get it. I won't go into too much more details there, but yeah, so this was going to be recycled, and I managed to save it. So yeah, 1978. This cost £600 in the UK back in 1978, and that's about 3.5 grand in today's money. So here's my hand, and give you a bit of a perspective as to how big this thing is. Here's a Betamax cassette tape, and that's a 20-inch TV sitting behind it. Thing is an absolute monster, and I have never owned a machine that weighs as much. This thing must easily weigh 25 kilograms. I haven't weighed it, so I'm not 100% sure, and it's in really good condition. The only small letdown is it's missing the door over the tuning controls, and surprisingly it still works. So when you close the lid on this, it automatically spools the tape out around the head drum. It doesn't do that on my other more modern Sanyo Betamax players, but on this one it's always around the head, even when you're fast forwarding and rewinding. So there is a slight problem with the rewind in this. It seems to take it a while. You have to use it for a while before it will rewind a tape. When I first got it, it wouldn't rewind at all, but after using it for a few hours, the rewind started to come back to life. So I'm guessing it needs a new idler tire or something on it to get rewind working better. But it fast forwards and plays perfectly. The rewind just sort of takes it a while before it'll actually rewind the tape. So that's fast forward. Isn't the quickest in the world. And rewind. Yeah, absolutely nothing. So we'll continue to keep pressing rewind over and over. It will eventually rewind the tape, and once it's done it once, it seems to get better and better. So obviously it needs a rubber tire on the idler or something similar. This takes about 7 rubber belts in it. I found a service kit for it, and yeah, it was about, I think it was about 7 belts and 3 tires. So I have not done anything to this apart. I took the top off and dusted it out of it. That was about it. So you can hear the mechanism in this stop and clang of the keys is extremely loud. But the mechanism itself is really quiet, so when it's playing, it just purrs. So yeah, really happy to have saved this beast. I'm gonna try and get a door for it. This thing is in lovely condition. I'll just turn the volume down here. There's a couple of marks on the top, a couple of scratches in the plastic, but literally only a couple towards the back there. The front is in really nice condition. So I'm going to try and find a nice door, and this thing will be pretty much perfect, cosmetically anyway. And I do plan on putting a service kit in it at some stage. I'm in no immediate hurry. So I'm going to pop the top off this here, and you can have a look at the mechanism inside this. There is pretty much no plastic in this thing, which is why it weighs so much. Everything is made of metal. Okay, so just pop the top cover off, and yep, huge amounts of metal in this thing. A couple of plastic parts in it, but really not very many. And the motor in this is enormous. It's like something out of a vacuum cleaner. This whole thing is the motor, and it's obviously driven with a belt across to the head drum. So when I turn the motor, it turns the head drum, and there is a bit of a fan built into the top of that. I'm guessing it's sucking air in through the vents on the top. And then the other vent is directly above the transformer here, which is the size of my fist. It's enormous, and it generates a lot of heat. All this is tuning to do with the built-in TV tuner. You can pull these couple of tabs back. You can actually pop this up on a hinge. So that's a whole tuner. That thing below it is a tuner. And then there's a thing in the back as well, which is to do with the tuning. So yeah, obviously before the perfected miniaturizing things back in 1978. So when you press eject on this, it unspools the cassette first and then ejects. And then when you push the cassette down, it automatically spools the tape out. The mechanism in this is really smooth, really quiet. So if I press fast forward, you can hardly hear it. Much quieter than the other two Sanyo machines I have from the mid 80s. The only letdown is a huge bang once you press the keys to do anything. Super smooth, super clear picture. Couldn't ask for more. If I can just get that rewind sorted, this thing will be an absolute beast. So yeah, so I don't know what else to tell you about this thing. That's pretty much it. Again, super happy to have found this. Super happy to have rescued it and give it a home. This thing will continue to live on. I may do a video when I get round to doing the service kit on this thing. I'll see see how I feel at the time. The one thing I don't like about this is the aerial lead sticks up. It doesn't come out straight. It sticks up in an angle, which, well, in the setup I have here, sort of pushes the aerial lead up in front of the screen. Not that this is a permanent setup or anything, but yeah, I don't like that. It should be pointing straight out. It'd be a neater solution. And I finally got rewind to start working again. It just seems to need to be used for 5 or 10 minutes. It's not very quick at the minute, but it will get better the more I use it here. I forgot to mention, when I had the top off this the first time, I cleaned the tape path. So cleaned all the rollers and stuff that the tape goes around. Cleaned the head drum, but didn't actually clean the heads because they didn't need it. So, and it wasn't actually too bad. It was a bit of dirt come off it, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. So I have somewhat given it a bit of a clean inside, just to help it on its way, even though it was working fine.